Here we go. Hi guys, welcome. I'm so sorry I'm late. I am so sorry I'm late. I know I said I would be joining at 9 and you guys aren't going to believe it, but I was setting everything up, getting prepared. I was almost done and then boom, my drink pops out of my hand and just spills all over the place. And the convenience of it doing it right at the time when I was going to do my live. So I guess whoever's trying to throw some shade at me for trying to speak the truth and they don't want it out, better luck next time, bitch, because it didn't work. It's water, by the way. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, I'm so sorry. I know I haven't been around. It's been so crazy with school, with work, and it's just, there has been so much happening these past couple of weeks that I have not been able to do a live, but I did say that I would be here today, and I promised that I would, and I am here. So thank you for being here. Thank you just for the support, for being patient with me. Thank you again. I appreciate you all. For anyone who's new to the channel, this is Narc Survival 101. This is pretty much a safe space for people who are survivors and victims of narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse. Hi, O. How are you? Hey, Stella. We are here to provide support for people who need the support, who've been in toxic relationships, domestically abusive relationships, narcissistically abusive relationships. If you see me looking around, guys, I have a lot of different monitors in front of me because I'm going live stream in front of different platforms. Oh, 619 Queen. I'm so sorry, honey. I listen, I have missed you guys so much. You guys don't know how much I wanted to do a live sooner. It's just been so hectic. There has been just so much going on personal matters. There has been a lot going on, and school has been crazy. I had my finals and everything was just, it was just so crazy, but I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm not going anywhere. I promised you that I wasn't going anywhere, and I'm not going anywhere. But anyone who is new to the channel, welcome. If you have questions, it's good to see you too, sweetheart. Thank you. If you have questions, I am here to help you. My moderators are also here to help you. I don't know if people notice or not. And if you're new to the channel, please understand if I don't get to answer a question. When I get in the zone and I start talking and I'm talking to different people, it's kind of hard for me to stop, kind of hard for me to cut it down. So if you ever need to reach out to me, guys, I'm going to give my email address ahead of time, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. You can also, that's the website. No, that's the, wait a minute. That's the email. I'm sorry. narcsurvival101@gmail.com. The website is narcsurvival101.com. You can reach me on either or. Okay, I will be at either of those two. Denise, does a narcissist know they are a narcissist? They don't know specifically that they're a narcissist, because if you were to tell them, hey, you're a narcissist, they will adamantly deny it. But they do know what they do. Okay. People who suffer a personality disorder, whether it be NPD, HPD, ASPD, anyone who suffers any kind of personality disorder, they may not know unless they are, of course, clinically diagnosed, and that would require them having to go to a therapist, having to speak to a professional. But they do know of the things that they're doing. They know that, for example, if someone says, go outside and tell me what color is the sky, and you go outside and you say, okay, the sky is green, knowing that it's blue. And they say, no, it's blue. And you say, no, it's green. But you know it's blue. You are lying to the person, obviously, and you're trying to, play head games with the person. That's typically what a narcissist does. They know they are lying. They know they are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, but they feel justified in doing those things. So you have the kind of people who look at the world and say, well, I've been hurt, I've been stomped on, I've been lied to, I've been manipulated, I've been, all of these things. So when I do it to other people, I'm justified. I'm justified in my actions because everybody else in the world hurt me. I have the right to hurt everybody else in the world. So do they know they're a narcissist? Deep down inside, we could say yes, but they will never admit to that. They know that there's something wrong with them. They know that the things that they do are hurting other people, and they know that what they are doing to you is wrong. But if they were to admit to it, if they were to break down and say, you know what, you're right, I'm wrong, that's a sign of weakness. And a narcissist can't live in a world that's filled with weakness. They have to live in a world where they have dominance, they have superiority, they are looked upon as being the perfect specimen, if you will. Which it's funny because deep down inside, they don't really think that way about themselves. Because if they really did, they wouldn't have to go through all of these measures to gain popularity, to get money out of people, to gain attention, and put the focus being put on them. It's because they know that they suffer inadequacies, which we all have inadequacies, and the only thing we have to do about that is work on them, fix it ourselves. It's too much work for them. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it the responsibility of another person, whether it be their partner, it be their children, it be their friends, their colleagues. They're going to make it the responsibility of someone else to validate them, to stroke their ego, to make them feel special. But all in all, do they know? Deep down inside, I believe they do, but they'll never admit it. They will never admit it. No, they genuinely are not happy people. A happy person, a genuine person, doesn't need to go through so much trouble to manipulate people to get something in return. When you're genuine and you're kind, and that shows, people naturally gravitate towards you. You ever notice that? Like when you are doing things out of the goodness of your heart, and you are just a naturally kind person, you ever notice how people will gravitate towards you? Like you'll have people, perfect strangers, telling their whole life story to you, sitting there because they could vibe with you. You don't have to do much. But these people who suffer traumatic experiences in their own lives, whether it be in their childhood or it be, in past relationships, because I want you guys to also understand something. A lot of people tend to think that narcissists only come from narcissistic parents. That's not the case. Okay, a parent doesn't have to be a narcissist to create a narcissistic child. There are certain behaviors that a child can grow accustomed to and be conditioned with that can push them onto that narcissistic path. A narcissist saw lying, cheating, manipulation growing up at an early age. They are a reflection of their kids, so they can't admit any shortcomings or faults. And oftentimes parents of children like this because they're enabling them. They enable these behaviors. In your relationships, I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I could only speak for myself when it comes down to my past relationships. I enabled people. When they got angry, or if they tried to make me feel inadequate, I would do the utmost to try to prove to them, no, look, I'm good enough for you. I'm good enough. I'm good enough for this relationship. I will take care of you, because we deep down inside felt, well, you haven't met the right person throughout your life. So I think that I can change you. I can change how you think about people and how you think about love and how you think about the world. And the little did we know that there were people who were in the same position as us, but maybe we got a few steps closer. Maybe we got in a bit deeper, or maybe the trauma bond was, a little bit more lengthy compared to anybody else who was in their relationship with them. But we often tend to take them being emotionally unavailable. We take them, who basically they don't know how to regulate emotions. They don't know how to understand your emotions. And it's funny because the reason you're confused about it is simply because in the beginning they didn't come off like that. They came off as very, very stable emotionally. They came off as kind. They came off as, what appeared to be genuine. So what confused you throughout the relationship and seeing the instability throughout it up until the discard point, you were looking at it as, well, where's this person that I met? Where's this person that I fell in love with? This person that, and throughout your relationship, you're working 10 times harder to recreate what you got in the beginning. You're working 10 times harder to get that person back. The reality of it is, and this is where the false mask comes in, is that when you deal with someone who's narcissistic, you're dealing with someone who will pretty much, they have like in their closets, you know how like some people have costumes and people have different types of masks that they like to, that's pretty much what it is. They come out with different masks. And if you notice in your relationship, how they are with other people compared to how they are with you. So if you're in, a friend setting, you see them with their friends, they're totally different with their friends compared to how they are with you, right? They may, for the sake of not being judged or being criticized, depending on the company that you are in, they will treat you a certain type of way. Now, if you are in front of company that they feel will pass too harsh judgment on them, or they feel will be tantamount to being exposed, their behaviors being exposed in a very negative light, they're not going to treat you the way they would treat you behind closed doors. But if they are around people whom they themselves don't really care about what these people think, because chances are they probably treat them under the same light, they will treat you, especially the overt ones, they will treat you like crap at times. They will talk to you in a way that you will find it very rude, very cruel, very disrespectful. Okay. They will probably make jokes about you, or you know how some people where they try to insult you, but they cover it with a joke. Like, I was just joking with you. You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. It wasn't that serious. And then of course, after they do all that, they invalidate your feelings. Yes, disrespectful, slander. They belittle you. And they belittle you in the ways that will hurt you. Hurt you. So see, here's the thing. People on the outside don't know what goes on in your relationship. They don't know what goes on when you guys are alone, or when you guys are, behind closed doors, whether it be in your home or, where nobody sees you. So when they are acting a certain kind of way, and that they are belittling you and they're disrespecting you and they're hurting you in front of these people, and when you react or you respond towards it, and they say, oh, you're always oversensitive, I was just joking or whatever, these people, more than likely, I mean, depending, it really, I could even say more than likely, because it depends on the kind of people that you guys are around. But they may take it as, oh, that's probably just how they are with one another. That's how their relationship is. They probably just, always joke around, or, insult each other, but it's never that serious. And of course, you have other people who are like, I'm not getting involved in it. I'm not getting involved in whatever that is that's going on there. But rest assured, people are talking about it. You have to compartmentalize their characteristics. They have good and bad qualities. Narcissistic people are black or white. They're black or white. Okay. It's either or. There is no in between. There is no gray. So it's either 0 to 100. That's just the way it is. When we talk about a gray area, we're talking about meeting in the middle. We're talking about compromise. We're talking about, reasoning and understanding, like, let's meet in the middle. You won't get that from someone who is so self-absorbed and so involved in their own, in their own feelings. People tend to think narcissists don't feel. Yes, they do. They do feel. They do feel. They feel greatly, and and a lot of them walk around with a very, very good poker face. So for anyone who has gone through a discard or is going through a discard right now, and you are either in no contact or you are trying to do no contact, because no contact is very hard. um Understand something. They have a very good poker face. All right. And I'm not saying that, it's because, oh, they regret what they did to you. They regret hurting you. Because trust me, if anyone regret hurting you, I'm pretty sure you would have gotten your apology, and you would have, gotten some type of remorseful response. If you didn't get that from them, trust and believe it's because they're in the driver's seat. They are in the driver's seat, and they are seeing it as, I am controlling this situation, because any type of ending with a narcissistic person, with a narcissist, has to be on their terms. It always has to be on their terms. So if you try to communicate with them in your relationship, if you try to tell them how you're feeling about certain things, they will take they could take anything as an attack. You're trying to attack me. You're trying to criticize me. You are trying to point out my flaws. You are trying to point out my inadequacies. And I don't trust that. They don't take criticism. Because if you try to criticize, or if you try to give them constructive criticism, like, hey, listen, maybe next time, can you do it like this? Because they know that they will not fulfill your relationship. They will not emotionally fulfill your relationship. The minute you start making complaints, or you start pointing things out, they will start to retreat. They will start to retreat on an emotional level. They may not retreat physically, but on an emotional level. And by that, I mean by your emotions, not theirs. Okay. So you'll start to notice different patterns. You'll start to notice certain things. And when you bring up what you notice, the infamous gaslighting will come in. They will gaslight you. What are you talking about? Nothing's wrong. Passive aggressive behavior. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. We're good. No, we're good. Don't worry about it. But you're still noticing changes in their behaviors. No, it's all good. You're crazy. You're making stuff up in your head, and it could get to the point where, I mean, listen, you're entitled to feel the way you do, and you're entitled to tell your partner, hey, I'm not feeling this. I'm not liking this. We need to talk about this. But if they're giving you the kind of response where they are slowly detaching, or they're pulling away, or it's just, and mind you, you could have been very respectful about it. You don't have to be disrespectful. If they're pulling away, or they're starting to, you're noticing that they're getting more and more cold with you. Anyone who's in a relationship, who's wondering, if you came across this live, if you're coming across these channels, it's not by coincidence. It's because you're noticing certain things in your relationship, and you're trying to get answers to it. When you start to notice that the person you are involved with is starting to detach from you, okay? Detach. A narcissist can be attached to you. They can be 110% attached to you, okay? When they start to detach from you, it's because they have all intention on leaving you yet again on their own terms. If you bring up a flaw, if you bring up certain things that you want to work on in your relationship, I can't do this. This is becoming too much. You're becoming overbearing. I can't, it's just way too much for me. I need space. I need time. And they start to push away. They were loving you. They were lovey-dovey with you. They were all in love with you. They were talking about the future with you. They were telling you all types of things of, oh, we can have, this many children. We could have a house here. We could do this. We could do that, and blah, 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 and all that good stuff that, of course, we wanted to hear. But the minute you start pointing out certain things aren't looking right, certain things we need to work on, we're not having the minute you start seeing the holes in that picture perfect relationship that they were painting for you, all of a sudden it's we need space, we need time apart, you're becoming overbearing. And the funny part about it is because people tend to think that, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, where oftentimes they'll say, oh well, if you go no contact and you decide to pull your energy back, you decide to pull away from the person, that'll make them come crawling back to you. Okay, let me tell you, you don't want to do that with someone who has a mental illness. You don't want to play that game with someone who has a mental illness. Okay, don't do that. That is pretty much playing with fire. You don't want to play games in that you are pretending to go no contact simply because you want to manipulate the situation so that person will come crawling back to you. No. If the person is pulling away from you, if the person is detaching from you, whether it's a narcissist or not, okay, and you are trying to understand and you're trying to communicate with them and they're not doing anything but pushing you away, the best thing that I can say in this situation, because you could be just dealing with someone who is emotionally unavailable, it's to go in your own direction. It's to let it go. Listen, I'm a firm believer, whatever's meant for you will always be for you. Okay? It will always be for you. And under certain circumstances, if you're married, I would recommend counseling. I would recommend therapy. But in most cases, if you're just in a relationship and the person is pulling away from you and they are detaching from you, there's really nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. If you're dealing with someone who's very narcissistic in nature, anything you say or do will actually push them even further. It will push them further, even though, here's the irony of it, simultaneously, you are fueling their ego. So if they're avoiding you, if they're detaching, if they're breadcrumbing you, if they're, pretty much stonewalling you and they're pushing you away and they're saying, hey, I need my space, I need you away from me, even though because a lot of you, I'm sure you've been through this. You've probably seen them doing things that most normally empathetic people would deem as being disrespectful. Let me give you an example. They're telling you, I need space, I need time, I need to be by myself. Okay, fine. I'm going to give you space. I'm going to give you time. I'm going to do whatever it takes to let you know that I'm here for you, but I'll give you your space. But yet they're going out there and they are commingling with other people. They're doing things that, but that don't really coincide with what the morality of your relationship. Because remember, if they're saying I need space, I need time, they're pushing you away, but they're not severing ties. They're not giving you a final, we need to break up. They're not telling you this. They're not giving you that closure. They're just saying they need space, they need time, and they need to be by themselves. But they are doing things in opposition to what they're telling you. They are totally contradicting what it is that they are telling you. I've come, listen, I've come to the point where I understand when someone tells me, let's go on a break. When someone says, let's go on a break, and then they are actively on social media, flirting with other people, or they're actively going out and doing things that can potentially put them in a position to find themselves in very tempting situations. When someone tells me let's go on a break, I'm simply one to say, I'll do you one better. Let's just go on a breakup. Because if you can't work through the problems with me, if we can't work together to figure out these problems, to figure out what it is that, because we don't have effective communication, then guess what? All you're simply telling me is I need some time to see if there's anything else out there that's going to fulfill my needs. And if I don't have it, or if I can't find it, then I'll come back to you. No, like, I don't think so. No, thank you. Because in the end, I'm going to tell you guys, and I know a lot of you ladies have done a lot for, especially, I'm speaking to the ladies because ladies can relate to me. I know a lot of you ladies have done a lot for your partners. I know that you have provided them, nurture and care and love and respect. And you probably have done things for them that they're not used to receiving because they're so used to being in the kind of dynamics that are so toxic that when they come involved with somebody who shows them, hey, I'm not here to fight you. I'm just here to love you. I'm just here to show you that, you can see the better things of a good relationship. You set a very, very high precedent. Okay, you set a very high standard, and they're looking at it as, because again, when they get, most narcissists, if they discard, it's because they're bored with the relationship, they're bored with how things are going, they can't take any more out of you, or there's something in their mind that you are doing or you are saying that is tipping them off, that is making them feel like, holy crap, this person's going to dump me, this person is going to leave me. And they can't have that because that's like complete and utter shame for them. So what they do is they start picking fights, they start nitpicking at different things, they start pointing out, it just unnecessary nonsense in your relationship. They start doing these things to kind of make you get out of character, to make you become irate, become belligerent, to make you feel, very upset, and possibly to even make you come at them, like either strike at them or curse them out, or, just argue with them so they can solidify their reasons for leaving. And they can also explain to people, see, I had to leave the relationship because that person was toxic for me. That person, look at how this person acts. Some of them may record. Hi, Chris. How are you, hon? Some of them may record what goes on, and it kind of brings me back to that Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation when she was recording him when he was not in a good space, when he was not, in a good place in whatever was going on at that moment. I understand people recording abusers, especially if they need it as proof of what's going on in domestic violence cases. And I'm not negating anybody who does that. But when you have a manipulator sitting there trying to get you down to your worst and get you when you're at your worst, they can use that as a way to demolish your character. In this case, that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to destroy his character. Like, see, this is what I'm dealing with. Look at what I'm dealing with. Look at what's going on. But oftentimes, there's two sides to every story. And in this case, I'm a firm believer that, when you have someone who knows that their partner has substance abuse problems or they have certain issues, you do have, and in this case, she's in my personal opinion, she's a manipulator. She was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Okay. And she was pretty much, in order to try to, you know, corrode his character, she was recording him. She was recording him trying to, angle it in a way that the public can see it as, well, look at the kind of person he is. When the reality of it is that there was a lot more to the story. Hold on 1 second. Yes, Lacey, to justify their claims. Free Mind Code. He recorded his ex too and showed it to me. And if you notice how people record videos and they put it up on social media, but they're only putting up certain angles, they're only putting up certain situations, they're not putting up the entirety or the background of the story. I noticed that. I've noticed that a lot lately, which is why I don't really pay too much attention to what, to what it, because you could show me something, you could show me a video and say, hey, Erica, this is what it is. I need to see the whole thing, because from this point, yeah, I can see why, but you have to give me something that has substance. I can't just go based off of, and then if they have edited videos where they're editing certain things out, and Listen, I know editing, so trust me, no. Narcissist will paint a different picture about you to his inner circle to justify his dirt. Yes. Peace and love. Yes. It's like, okay, let's say, I can use myself as an example, guys. I've used myself plenty of times as an example. I mean, in the end, I don't really know what went on that end, but I've heard stories as well. So I'll just, compilate some of them. But during a discard, let's say you're constantly calling them, you're texting them, you're trying to figure out what's going on, right? You're lost, you're confused, you're in a fog, you don't know which way you're going, you don't know what the hell's going on. You're just like, listen, I have no clarity. I just want clarity. What is this? They're stonewalling you. And if anyone's familiar with stonewalling, it's they're pretty much keeping you at a distance. They're putting a wall in between the two of you. And every time you're asking questions because you're trying, like, what is this? Answer me. I think I deserve answers to my questions. You're not telling me what's going on. And the response is, amongst many, I don't need to explain myself to you. I don't need to tell you anything. It is what it is. You need to just get on with it and blah, 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 whatever. And each and every time they do something hurtful to you, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. When you're going through the motions, and I've been there, guys, I feel, I feel and I felt the pain of what many people have gone through. When you're sitting there and you're depressed and you're I did it myself. You're going through their social media and you're looking at their everyday activities, and they're having a good old time and they're doing all kinds of stuff, or they moved on to another person and they're taking videos and photos. Like, if you never existed and you're sitting there just in pain and trying to figure out why this is happening to you, you're being very reactive. Because I remember being that way. I was very reactive, and it was, how could you do this to me? You told me that you just needed space, but what is this, what is that? And and it brings up so many questions. And they, of course, if they do respond, they respond to you in a very either nasty, very extremely nasty way, or they may try to respond to you in a very condescending way. Like, if you're acting like a child, and like they're trying to diffuse the situation, which inherently they're gaslighting you. And oftentimes they will sit there and possibly show their friends. They'll show their friends your text messages. They'll show their friends your reactions towards their behaviors. They will sit there and, really, really just play you behind your back. You're sitting there thinking this person is confused. And if you were anything like me, you were making excuses, because I was making excuses, okay? This person is just confused. They just don't know, they just need to realize that I'm the one for them and I'm the perfect one. And these other women or these other guys, they don't have, they don't have what I have. And I just need for them to see that. I need for them to realize that the fact of the matter is they already know that. They know that. They knew it throughout your entire relationship. They knew all of that, which is why they never gave you any definitive answer to where the demise of your relationship. A relationship with a narcissist is only over when the person who's on the receiving end says it's over. Okay? It's only over when you say it's over. It's not over when they say it's over, because if it were left up to them, it would never be over. They will continuously come back. They'll come back. And if you notice, that was one thing I wanted to mention. If you notice, they will do it. They won't do some grand gesture. Okay? They will not stand outside of your house with a boombox in their hands and shout it to the world that they love you and they're in love with you. If you notice, they try to get back with you. They try to sneak back in on the sneak tip. They try to do it in private. They don't try to do it in front of people. And the reason is because if you reject them, then no one's the wiser. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows that they were trying to kick it to you. Nobody knows that they were trying to say, listen, baby, I'm sorry. I know I messed things up and blah, 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 and all this stuff or whatever. Nobody knows anything, because if you reject them, guess what? They can go back to talking crap about you. They can go back to, trying to slander your name, or they can go back to, whatever it is that they were dealing with. Screw it. Let me give it a little more time and I'll maybe try again later. And when you do reject them, that's when they'll go. I noticed that a lot of them, especially female narcissists, and it's just like mind-boggling to me that they're quick to like throw out like on social media all types of garbage and all types of like just try to be like try to play off as the victim, like, oh yeah, this person was so manipulative, I'm so glad I got rid of them. But meantime, just the other day they were trying to get back with you. Just the other day, they were trying to get you to sweep everything under the rug and see if you guys can start over again. They won't do it in public. They will not do it in public. Narcissists do not know humility. And a pattern, they disappear, reappear, could be every 3 days or 2 weeks, like a check-in. That's often because when they come in and they're in and out, it's just to, when they first come in, it's to test the water. It's to see where you are. It's to get you to think about them again. This is why I say no contact is very important. Stay no contact. It's extremely important, because no contact is like going cold turkey. Because when you are released from a narcissist, or you detach from one, you're coming off a drug. You are coming off of a drug. Okay. And if you are familiar, I'm not, I don't know anyone who's familiar. If you're familiar with, I used to smoke. I smoked cigarettes for many years. And when it was time for me to quit, the first few days was very hard for me. It was extremely hard. I was cranky. I was agitated. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't concentrate. That's pretty much what it's like coming off of a toxic relationship. You are coming off of a drug and you are going cold turkey, and it's not pretty. It really is not pretty. And that's when I went through the motions myself. I went through the withdrawals. I went through physiologically, my body, my brain was just not, it wasn't coping. It wasn't coping. I could not understand why I could not release myself from it. And I went through the motions. My body went through it. My body, it was like I lost control of my body. I lost, so much. I couldn't concentrate at work. Every day I was just constantly thinking about the person. I was ruminating. I couldn't understand. And even though all of the stuff that was being done, it was being done in my face. And the reason why I found myself that I couldn't let go of the situation was because the person kept reassuring me that I was making stuff up in my head. I couldn't understand. Why can't I take it for what it is? Why can't I accept it for what it is? And it was simply because I was being reassured that this person was not doing what my gut was telling me that they were doing. They kept telling me, you're crazy, you're making things up, I'm not doing anything. And they seemed like adamant, like they were hardcore standing in it, like, I'm speaking with such conviction, Erica. I would never do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. If I don't get to thank you, thank you. I would never do that to you. I would never hurt you like that. I would never, I would. And meantime, everything else, because never mind all the other disrespectful stuff they said to you, but you're sitting there like, what the hell? Why can't I let this go? Why can't I just move on from this? Why? And it's because the gaslighting. It's because you're now sitting there saying, am I making stuff up? Am I really, maybe I am making stuff up. Maybe if I hadn't complained and if I hadn't, been so unbearable like they say I'm being, we would still be together. Listen, Listen, no, no. No, and if anybody has dealt with the ones who, and just just for the sake of the live, I'm gonna tell you, I can't fully say that my ex was a narcissist. I can't diagnose him as a narcissist, but the behaviors were very, very congruent with narcissistic behaviors, extremely. So, again, I can't diagnose that person, but I can say that there was definitely just everything, every box checked off. Let's just put it that way. Um, but if you are familiar with it, if you know that narcissistic people do like to keep their exes in the loops with them, which I'm pretty sure some of you have probably dealt with that too. I've dealt with it myself. Stella says they will never change, not even for the new supply. That is true. They will put on just a different mask. They will put on a different mask. And for anyone, like I was saying before, the exes, the exes never left, guys. Just so you know, I never understood me personally. Everybody's different. Being friends with an ex, I always thought, you break up with someone, that's it. It just is what it is. Now, if you have kids with someone, yeah, you can be cordial with them. You can be cordial with them, but you know, it's a lot different to be. Listen, blended families. I believe blended families can work if there is complete and utter honesty, and even with that, you just don't know. So I tell people use discernment with that. Use discernment with that one, guys. But if I've ever met a man and they told me, well, yeah, me and my friends, me and my ex, we're still friends. And, if they have kids, I mean, I give the benefit of the doubt. I did that. I gave the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you say you're friends. That's all it is. All right, no problem. And it's just interesting how if they tell you certain things about an ex or exes from their past, if they tell you certain things, it's usually along the lines of, it's usually along the lines of other people have done things to hurt them, but they've never really done anything to hurt other people. So it's like everybody else is the problem and they're not. And I'm not saying that the exes didn't hurt them, didn't lie to them, didn't cheat on them, didn't do these things. I'm not saying that, but it does take two to tango. And at the end of the day, I couldn't find myself being friends with an ex who manipulated me and lied to me and cheated on me and used me and if for you fellas, emasculated me and made me feel like a piece of crap. Like who calls someone like that a friend? Who does that? Like I don't understand. And you do have people who have family members because listen, in my situation, yeah, family members enabled that. They enabled the back and forth behavior. They enabled the recycling behavior. Hey, listen, if you're happy, then we're happy for you. But the fact of the matter is that they essentially knew that that was toxic. So, when I look back at things, because, oh, listen, when my discard came, and yes, I was discarded, guys, I was discarded. Okay. I did see the ex coming back into the picture. I saw females that I didn't know anything about, brand new females. I'm like, oh, okay. All of a sudden, all this is coming up. This wasn't happening when we were together. Um, I just saw behaviors that were so distasteful and so just disgusting. That's just the word I could use to describe it. Very disgusting. That I had to force myself to say, I'm done. Because no matter how much you sit here and try to tell me and reassure me, it's all good, it's all good, it's all good, it's not what you think. When I start seeing exes coming back into the picture, when I start seeing you're ignoring my phone calls, you're ignoring my text messages, you're ignoring me, period, but you're talking to other women and you're talking to other people online and you're doing all of these things that you would have been pissed off with me if I had done it to you. When I start seeing stuff like that, it's like, okay, you could be a pendeja some of your life, or you're going to be a pendeja all of your life. Okay. And a pendeja, for anybody who's wondering, is a stupid ass. You can be a stupid ass for all of your life, or you could be a dumb dumb. And I said, no, I said, screw this. I'm done. I'm done. this is enough for me to at least start. It's gonna hurt, but it's enough for me to start so I can just go in my go on my own. And it wasn't easy. It was not easy. No contact is not easy because you're being brought back memories of the good times, memories of certain occasions and holidays, and you're just. But I think there's a reason why. There is a reason why God isolates us from people, because that's what I did. I turned to God during my healing, and He isolated me. He kept me away from people. He kept me away from things. And the reason why it's important that you block everything, you do not go anywhere near it. You don't go near their social media. You don't try to check on them. You don't try to look at their lives. You don't go to their exes. You don't go to their new supply. You don't do any of that. And there's a reason for all of that, because when the time is right and you are healed, you will be brought information that is going to, what was supposed to destroy you will no longer mean anything to you. You'll look at it like, okay, and so what am I supposed to do with that? That's why it's important. No contact is extremely important. Staying away from everybody, including their friends, including their family may not even reach out to you. And if they do reach out to you, it's probably to you know, get gossip or get something out of you. But when it boils down to their behaviors, their family already knows about their behaviors, guy. Don't fall asleep on that. Their family has known them longer than you have. They already know about those behaviors. Yes. Dahl says, me too. It's important to get your faith strong to help you heal. Absolutely. I moved away clear across the state with family and travel concerts. And that's something, not everyone can do that, but you know, if you can do it, I mean, it'd be like starting new somewhere else. I've contemplated it. I've thought about it. Um, my career and school keep me here, but once I get my degree, because I'm going for my master's degree in psychology, and I might do doctorate. I'm not sure, but once I get my degree, I mean, I can pretty much, because it's going hand in hand. I'm doing a double major. So yeah, guys. So just to let you know, I'm doing a double major. I'm doing criminal justice and I'm doing psychology. Um, I can go anywhere and I can do what I need to do and do what I want to do and be with who I want to be with. Why am I settling for bare minimum? Why am I settling for something that won't fulfill me? Why should I settle when I know what I bring to the table? That's another thing, guys. Why settle for that when you know what you have to offer? You know how many people are praying for people like you, but the only reason God is not bringing you guys together is because you need to heal. That's the only way it's going to happen. You have people out there who are dying to meet somebody like you who wants. I mean, look at today's dating pool. I'm 40 years old. You think I'm going to join this dating pool knowing how it is out there? Man, listen. Listen. You guys ever seen that meme of the guy trying to mop the ocean? No. I go outside and I'm like, oh, thank God I'm single. I thank God I'm single. I can't. I just can't. Dating, especially in my age. Oh, Lord, listen. Yes, yep. I walk forward and in forgiveness. Absolutely. Their family members are enablers in their narcissistic behavior. Miss Bay, and something, I don't know your situation. I don't know, how what it entails. If you want to reach out to me, we could discuss it more. But I tell people all the time, I never condone cheating, manipulation or anything like that, obviously, especially if you have a good partner. But if you have a partner where there's manipulation, there is abuse, emotional abuse, psychological, physical, verbal abuse, and you're trying to get away, you are pretty much going to have to pull a them on them, meaning that you're going to have to make your moves in secret. You're going to have to do everything in secret. Okay. If you live with them, and let's say you're working and you make your own money, it's going to take some time. But I often tell people, set up a separate account or have a friend set up an account, in their name, and you deposit money each time into that account. Because when you decide to leave a relationship, especially if you share a home, you share finances or what have you, you're going to need money to start reestablish. And in order to do that, you're going to have to do certain things that's sneaky. You're gonna have to, do things behind the scene. But I mean, listen, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I find it you are within your right to say, I need to get out of this. And in order for me to get out of this, I gotta start making a plan. You got friends? Tell your friends, listen, I need you to open up a bank account for me. I need you to open up a separate phone account for me. You start doing things, put those plans in motion. I had to do that myself. I had to do it myself. And I'm in a better place. And I know that fear, the fear of leaving, the fear of what's next, the fear of what am I going to face? What am I going to deal with? I mean, I think I'd rather go towards the unknown than stay with what I know is more than likely going to happen if I continue staying in this situation. Thank God I'm retired. Deborah says, "Thank God I'm retired. I could do anything," and I'm happy for you, sweetheart. I'm so happy for you. What's crazy is his mother was abused by his dad, and she is enabling her son now. It's that's common. That's common. If she was enabling the father, and the father was extremely abusive and toxic, then more than likely the son picked up the habits. And it's crazy because they often resent. It's like they resent the person, the people that they grew up with, but they're attached to them. So in this case, if he witnessed his father abusing his mother, and the mother pretty much demonstrated that, well, your dad abuses me, your dad cheats on me, your dad manipulates me and does all of these things to me, but I'm still here. That's giving him the false impression that all women are going to be like that. That's giving him that's putting that seed in his head. Well, my mom did it, so I learned from my dad. Well, I just got to be nice every so often. And that back and forth behavior of being nice and being cool and being nice and being cool, that's what generates the trauma bond. Okay? If you're familiar with that, where it seems like it's called the Jekyll and Hyde effect. And it's back and forth. It's 1 minute, excuse me, 1 minute they're nice to you, they're calm, everything's great, you're having a great time, there's nothing wrong. And then the next minute, you know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, it's a totally different person. And you sit there and you wonder, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you will literally ask them, what is wrong with you? Why are you acting this way? And they will, possibly even throw something at you, like, don't act like you don't know, like trying to make you feel like, I know that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. What? Meantime, meantime, it's often them doing the things that they shouldn't be doing. Now, you do have the kinds that are very paranoid. They're just, they may not be doing anything. They're just extremely paranoid. You do have those types too. Well, they will constantly accuse you of doing something. They are so insecure and they have so much trauma. They will constantly monitor you. They'll look through your things. They may look through through your phones. They're very big on that, looking through your phones to make sure that no one is, they're not at threat of having their supply removed from them. They'll try to, see who it is that you're talking to, who your friends are. They will deeply scan your social media. Now, before we get into that, I'm going to tell you something. Ladies, I know that some of us are guilty of doing that too. Okay? I know that some of us are guilty of doing that too, but we don't do it with the intention to control. All right? I know I didn't do it with the intention to control the person. It was not my intention to control you and who your friends are. It is my intention to protect myself, because I'd like to know who these people are, especially when I'm in your life. But they will monitor and scan through your social media to figure out who is who and what is what. Okay? I admittedly, because guys, you guys know me, I throw no stones, and while hiding my hands, I say it like it is. Did I look through my ex's social media when I was with him? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And was I completely, no, he told me his ex was on his friends list on his social media. Thought that was kind of weird, but okay, fine. Like I said, benefit of the doubt. There were other people that, he had spoken to, but in a not in a, chill, cool kind of way. And I had questions about that, simply because he made a statement to me when it came to coming onto my social media. And the statement was, I better not find anybody that you ever dealt with before, anyone you talked to, anyone you dated, anyone, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. I better not see anybody that you dealt with in your past on your friends list on your social media. But of course, that double standard. I better not find this, but yet you got your ex and you got a couple of females that you talk to more than, on a key friendly basis. But of course, what works for them has nothing to do with you. Okay, what works for them. So in other words, I can do what I do. Don't ask me about what I do. Don't ask me about who I talk to. Don't ask me about who this person is or that or blah blah blah. Don't. No, but I can ask you all the questions I want, and you better give me the answers that I need. And that's what makes it so frustrating, because in the relationship you're frustrated because it's like, yo, I'm giving. When are you going to start giving in return? When are you going to start pulling through on what it is you... Not going to happen. Yep. My ex blocked me and my family on his social media because he was cheating. And they will do that because they have to get to everybody before you do. They have to get to everybody before you do. When I... Listen, people... let's go back for a second. Did you notice how people kind of already knew about you guys breaking up before you did? Like, it was news to you, but it was already spoken about with other people. Now, if you're familiar with speaking to your friends and talking to different people, like, I'm thinking about maybe breaking up with this person or whatever the case may be, for whatever your reasons are. But when it came to you, it was all news to you, but it was already spoken about on your ex-partner side. It was already spoken with other people about the problems, or about the fact that, something, I don't think this person is the person for me anymore. This person is controlling, this person is this person is that. So all of this was spoken about before you even knew that you were officially done. In fact, I'm willing to bet that you still sat there and thought that you guys were still in a relationship. Right? You guys thought that you were still in a relationship. You thought that you were working on your problems. You thought that things were going to be getting better, and, you're going to get help or whatever the case may be, because your partner was telling you one thing, but they had other plans. So everybody else hears a story about you, about your relationship, about why it's not working out and they're going to end it with you. You don't know a damn thing. You don't know what the hell's going on. You're like, I'm thinking about what I'm going to make us for dinner tonight. I'm thinking about, what we're going to do for the weekend, or what plans we're going to have for next week when we go on our vacation. You're thinking, you're in this state of mind of everything is okay. Meantime, all of this was in motion. If you're dealing with a narcissist, I'm going to tell you right now, the discard was already played out in their head long before the discard happened. It was already mapped out in their head. They already decided why they're going to do it. They decided more than likely a time frame of when it's going to happen, because if you're dealing with someone who's like this, you're dealing with someone who is first trying to fill up they're trying to fill up the basket before they kick you out. Okay, so they're trying to put someone else in that basket before they decide to say, okay, you and I are done. And again, they won't say we're done. They will say, maybe we could revisit this in the future. Maybe we can be friends. Okay. I swear, if somebody ever tells me again, can we be friends? You know what? No, I got enough friends. I got one friend. That's enough for me. But they tell you things. They give you open-ended. It's open-ended. So it's like, it didn't work out because of X, Y, and Z. It didn't work out because you have this, your problems, you have the problems. They don't have the problems. Narcissistic person does not have problems. That's their mind. It's not me, it's all you. So if you tell them, compromise, let's compromise, I'll compromise if you compromise, you are demanding too much. That's what it translates to. Meet me in the middle. You are forcing responsibility on them. Listen, I'm your girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend. Maybe you can, fit me into your life, into the schedule. It translates to you are trying to take over their life and you're trying to control them. They want to love you on their terms. They want to respect you on their terms. They want to be around you on their terms. They want to provide for you on their terms. Everything is on their terms. And if you try to go against the grain with them, you are trying to control them. And for a manipulative person, when they lose control, or the idea of losing control means catastrophe. Them being in control keeps them safe. Okay? And it could be anybody in your life. It could be family members. It could be your partners. If you notice, look back at some of the people in your life and look at situations where if they saw they were losing control, that they totally spazzed out, like they just got completely and utterly belligerent, or they, started to create these scenarios that you're just sitting here tapping like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Because the idea of losing control for them is very scary, and it pushes them in a corner, and it makes them become the kind of person that you just don't ever want to come across again. They want you to dress how they want, like what they like, very controlling. They live like they're single when they are, oh man, listen. They live like they're single when they're married or in relationships, because in their mind, their singlehood is. But let's put it this way: some of the things they do in your relationship, you obviously know that it's not cool, it's not respectful, that needs to stop. And they will flip it on you and say, well, if you trust me and you trust that I'm not doing anything with anyone, then you should have no problem with me doing these things. And because they're friends, 9 out of 10 times, they either got friends that think just like them, that are just as narcissistic as they are, or they have friends that they can easily manipulate to believe whatever story they give them. Their friends are going to back them up. Their friends are going to be loyal to them. Their friends are not going to tell you, listen, unless you have come across someone that has friends that are like, which I couldn't even say that'll have your back, because friends who are very coherent and they live with morale, they don't like to associate, people don't like to associate themselves with the kind of people who do immoral shit. I know I don't. I don't like to associate with people who do immoral things. It's like, no, that's a really screwy character. And by me having you in my company, that lets people know that I not only accept those behaviors, but I'm more than likely just like you. No, no, thank you. The challenge, no. There is no specific gender when it comes to narcissism. In fact, female narcissists are more dangerous. Just so we have it clear, make it much more clear. They're more dangerous in that they're very covert. When I decided to throw his nonsense back at him, hold on one second, I want to catch that one. Hi, Deborah. When I decided to throw his nonsense back at him, he didn't trust me anymore. And I said, so, because what they dish to you, you can't give it back to them. And the minute they feel as if you betrayed them, or if they think in their mind that you are screwing with their head or you are betraying them, they will work just as hard to make it miserable for you. Mind you, you could be doing nothing. You could be doing absolutely nothing. You could just be chilling, minding your business. You can be loyal. You can be faithful and say, hey, I know it seems like this, but I don't know what to tell you because I'm not doing anything, but it doesn't matter. If they get an idea in their mind that you are doing something deceptive, you are pretty much screwing with their supply, or the fact that, they know, I think this is my opinion. I think what bothers them most is that the idea of you meeting someone else, not only because it messes with their supply, but it's the idea of you meeting someone and them showing you who you really are and what you deserve. They don't want you meeting someone else. Because the fact that if you meet someone else who treats you different, who treats you with respect, who treats you with consistency, and they show you, hey, you're such a nice person, this is how you deserve to be treated, they don't want you knowing that. Especially even after they discard you, they don't want you dealing with somebody else. They want you to be forever in pain, crying over them, holding on to the memory of them, holding on to the idea of this person will come back. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe if I stay away, they will come back. And if you're sitting there waiting for them to give you a response, to give you clarity, to give you validation, to give you, pretty much any little morsel, any little breadcrumb that may give you something to hold on to, they are in the driver's seat. They know that you're waiting and they'll take their sweet little time doing it. They won't think twice about it. As long as they have control, they know. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's been a while, guys. For anybody who's just joining, school has been crazy, work has been crazy, life has been crazy, but we're back on track. So I'm trying to make sure that I make my weekly lives, make it more often, because I know it's just, I've missed you guys. I really, really have missed you guys so much. Bingo, you think you have a narcissistic friend? I would tell you right now, get away. Get away from them. Get as far away from them as you can. Don't look back. Just if they're showing you signs, even if they're not diagnosed, even if you're not sure, the minute you start, listen, the first red flag should be the last red flag. If you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, by all means, you can give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm going to tell you right now, once you see the first red flag, you got to take everything they do with a grain of salt. You have to. You have to. Because people who start showing you certain things, especially in the beginning, they're letting you know, this is who I am. His best friend told me he was cheating on me. That's what started it. But I felt it before he told me. Often you're gonna know. You're gonna know. And just be careful too, because at the end of the day, it's like a double-edged sword when it comes to the friends. And I'm not saying that his friend is not a good friend for telling you, but you got to also make sure that they're telling you from a genuine place. Thank you so much for that, sweetheart. you got to make sure they're telling you from a genuine place. Don't allow someone who's trying to maybe fill a spot, or trying to, I'm not saying that he's doing that, but I'm just saying in general, who's trying to fill a spot or trying to take that person's place. Because think about it this way too, that's his best friend, and if he's like this, that says a lot about his friend's character too. I'm just saying, it says a lot about his friend's character. And what it says is either his friend could be easily manipulated by someone, who's clearly a manipulator, or his friend thinks along the lines of him. He's basically like him in a sense. But either way, you got to know what it is that's going on. Oh, the challenge, you're more than welcome to stay. I do speak on female narcissists too. I'm not, I don't drag down guys, okay? I have a son, so trust me. I speak on female narcs a lot. And in actuality, a lot of us who have dealt with, whether it be male or female narcissists, chances are you dealt with someone who was severely traumatized by a female narcissist. Because, it could be a male narcissist as well. Fathers can be narcissistic also. But female narcissists, for some reason, have a lot more influence. A lot more influence. Very calculating, yes. Peace and love, yes, they are. Female narcissists are a trip. Very calculating and cutthroat. They're just the kind that will try to gain off of your pain. They're no different from a sociopath. A sociopath just has it's like a few notches up. But they're the kind that will really try to gain off of your pain. This is why I'm very, very leery about dealing with females. Certain females, I have to really feel your energy and see what kind of person you are before I can consider you a friend or even an associate, because you just have, but ladies, you guys already know how to do it. The minute someone comes into your presence, you could just feel it off of them. It's like that sixth sense where you can be like, yeah, something about you tells me I got to keep my back to the wall with you. I've been there. My ex-fiance didn't want to spend time with me. He'd rather play his video games. Well, when it comes to, but then, hold on a second. Rather play video games, but then told me that I was the problem. Well, if your ex-fiance, if that's what the only thing he wants to do, only thing he wanted to do was play video games, and not, because in a relationship, you gotta work together. You got to work together. I'm all for giving a man his time for himself. I'm all for giving a man his own space. You want to play games, but don't forget that you have a relationship here. We still have to contribute to this relationship. So at the end of the day, if you guys are not together, and his focus was just on that and not, nurturing this relationship, he probably did you a favor. And guys, I want you guys to know you can reach out to me anytime. I know the lives are not as frequent, but you can email me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com, if you need any further help with anything, or if you have any questions. I'm here. Hi, Yolanda. Margaret says he thinks I want him back because I'm still single. I don't. Thank you, Margaret, for bringing that up. Here's another thing I want to tell you guys. I had to. I'm glad that she brought that up, because that's another thing. I've been single for 5 years. I have not been in another relationship. I have not, and it has nothing to do with the fact of what transpired between me and this person. I have been single for 5 years, have not been in a relationship, have not been with anyone, just been focusing on me, my work, my craft, my kid, my schooling, And I want you guys to know that more than likely is another thing that they think in their head. Like, if you don't get involved with somebody else, or if you don't get into a new relationship, for some of you, I'm sure the traumatic experience was too much. And it was just like, you know what? I don't want to be with anyone. I don't want to be involved with anyone, which you're perfectly fine in saying that. But yeah, they will more than likely see that, because they always monitor you. You are always watched, whether it be by them, whether it be by their new supply, whether it be by their friends, whether it be by anybody who knows them or anyone they can manipulate, convincing them to watch you. If they see that you have not been involved, you're not in a relationship or what have you, they can be so deluded that they think, well, this person hasn't dated in all this time, so I must have really, really like wrecked them to ever consider being with somebody else. And that can also prompt them to try to come back in. Oh, well, you're probably waiting for me anyway. You're probably waiting for me to come in and give you an apology. You're probably waiting for me to come in and say I love you and I missed you and I want to make things work. You're probably waiting for all that. Listen, I've been single for 5 years. I've not been with anyone. I choose not to be with anyone because I want to get my life in order first. I want to get my house. I want to get my degrees. I want to do what I need to do. So when that time comes that I am ready to get involved with someone, I got my shit together. Because at the end of the day, when I get involved with someone, I am established on my own. So if that person ever decided to abandon me, leave me, okay, discard, whatever the case may be, I still got my shit to fall on. That person did not contribute. That person did not build this for me. I built it for myself. And I will have this whether they're here or not. And that's the one thing that we also need to consider, guys. Let's work on getting ourselves together. Let's work on getting our shit together, doing what we need to do to build what we need. So when someone comes in, you don't even have to depend or rely on them. If they come in and they don't compliment what you've already established for yourself, because that's what a relationship is. If they don't compliment that, as fast as they came in is as fast as they can leave. Okay? Peace and love, that's awesome. What are you going for? My ex accused me of cheating when I wasn't. He would rage over the delusion. That is very common. That is very common. They will make up all types of things in their mind. And again, you got to also bear it in mind, guys. Often it can be because they are doing something that they should not be doing, but it also can be it's just paranoia because they've been through it too. Listen, just because someone is labeled a narcissist doesn't mean that they've never been cheated on, doesn't mean that they've never been discarded, doesn't mean that they've never gone through what they put you through. Okay? In fact, it's the total opposite of that. It's because they have gone through what they have put you through. That's why they are the way they are. They're very, very paranoid. They're very paranoid. So if they dated someone before you, and let's say that person before you was, just as manipulative, just as toxic, just as narcissistic, and they cheated on them, they lied to them, they, demeaned them, they did all kinds of craziness towards them. Yeah. Yeah. If you miss a phone call, or if you miss, the mark of the time that you always call them, if you were in a routine, they're going to think something. They're going to be like, oh, this person's fucking around on me too. This person's probably sleeping, the most unnecessary things, the most deluded things, the most, are you kidding me type of things. Okay. Listen, I've had my stuff looked through. I've had my phone looked at. I had nothing to hide. I would open my phone in front of the person. I would sit there and put the code. They knew the code to my phone. I would open it in front of them and look through my text messages or look through whatever I needed to look through. And nothing. There was nothing. And there were times that I didn't actually see the person doing it, but I'm almost certain that they did do it. When I was asleep, I'm sure they opened my phone, because when I sleep, I'm dead to the world. I'm knocked the F out. They opened my phone and they looked at my messages. But again, there was nothing in there. Nothing in there. Like, I gave them a key to my house. They come in, I don't know. I don't know if I'm not there. Maybe they're looking through my drawers. Maybe they're looking to try to find something. And it's just, that paranoia just pushes them and it prompts them and it fuels them to, to do the most craziest thing. It's like, did you find what you're looking for? No, but I know that you're doing something. You're just pretty good at hiding it. Like, they'll keep coming for you. I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. He's so narcissistic. He hit me with a divorce because I missed one call. Really? That's pretty drastic. Then again, I shouldn't be so surprised. It's hard to leave when you're in love. It is hard to leave when you're in love, but I'll tell you something. It's hard to leave when you are attached. It's hard to leave when you are attached because during the relationship, they had already shown you at some point that they are not that person you fell in love with. You just stayed in a relationship that you were attached to. Because think about it. Does love treat you that way? Does someone who loves you treat you that way? Does someone who values you and respects you, do they treat you that way? You have fallen in love with them, yes. You did fall in love with them. But at some point, you would have to pinpoint when that was. At some point, the love flew out the window and it was just attachment. Okay? Because let me tell you something. If you asked me today, Erica, do you still love that person? I carry love for him, yes. I do. You can love someone and not, it does not mean that you're meant to be together. Okay? It does not mean that you're meant to be together. Because at the end of the day, that person is still a human being. That person bleeds just like I do. That person breathes just like I do. Okay? But love doesn't do that to you. Love does not do that to you. Trauma does that to you. Okay? Attachment to toxic things does that to you. So even though you did love the person, you were deeply in love with the person, and you probably still do to this day carry love for the person, the I'm in love with this person, you have to go back into your relationship and find out where, because it did happen. It went from being in love to just being attached. That's it. And people often misconstrue attachment with love. Oh, but I love this person, but I'm in love with this person, but I love this person. And the person is treating you horribly. They're disrespectful to you. They are mean towards you. They are callous. They're just so cold. And they're demeaning. They're controlling. They're demanding. They are they say things to you, and and listen, I can't imagine what some of you have been called in your relationships. I can't imagine, what how the conversation started and the middle and the end. I can't imagine the nights that you went to bed crying, the nights that you, thank you so much for that, sweetie. I you know I You went to bed crying, or you went to bed laying next to someone, but you felt utterly alone. You felt like you were alone in this relationship. You felt like, I'm alone in this. Yes, this person is here, but I am alone. I'm alone in this. But I still keep trying. I still keep pushing forward. I still keep trying to make it work. I still keep trying to show them that I love them. I just want that person back. I want that person that I fell in love with. I want them back. I'm sorry, guys, give me one second. And Sam, I'll tell you, you're going through this now. Thank God you're here, because this is where you're gonna hear, because I'm being very honest with you. Attachment and love are two different things. Attachment and love are two different things. Someone who loves you does not go to bed peacefully at night knowing that they just treated you like crap an hour before you went to bed. They don't do that. Someone who has self-love and is capable of loving you does not call you out of your name, but has the audacity to come to your house, eat your food, shower in your bathtub, okay, sleep in your bed, okay, and then feel entitled to you and your body. They don't do that. That's not someone who loves you. And the interesting thing about it is that at the same time, we can say this much: in our relationships, we expected change. We expected change. Maybe they're going to wake up one day and they're going to change. They're going to wake up one day and they're going to change. Watch. One day it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I know it. If I keep going harder, if I keep doing this. And let me ask you something. Why would that person change if all you've been doing is gifting them, rewarding them for being the assholes that they are? Think about it. Think about it for a second. Why should I change for you when I could treat you like crap and just come in and say, hey, baby, I'm sorry, I love you, bring you some flowers, and guess what? You're cooking dinner for me. You're cooking dinner for me, and you're telling your friends, you're telling everybody online, this is how you take care of a man. This is how you take care of a real man. Let's be honest. Why should I change? Why should I change for you when you caught me cheating several times? And each and every time I come back and I apologize to you, and I say, I promise it won't happen again. I love you. And deep down inside, you know that more than likely it's going to happen again. But you're still rewarding me. You're giving me a place to stay. You're putting faith in me. You're putting yourself, you're giving yourself to me. Why should I change? Why should I change my behaviors if I can, flirt with other people and convince you that it's nothing, it's not that serious, and convince you that your feelings don't mean anything to me. Your feelings don't matter. And you sit here and tell me I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm telling you, when I leave, you're going to miss me when I'm gone, but you don't leave. Why should I change? And at the end of the day, they don't need to change because you did not put your foot down to say, screw this. You don't want to change? Then I'm out. You lost me. I'm done. I'm gone. Go be with all the people that you want to be with. Go do all the things that you want to do. They won't change because they were too busy being rewarded. And even though it wasn't your intention to reward them for those behaviors, you thought you were rewarding them for the apologies, for the I love yous, for the it won't happen again, for these can we put the past behind us, for the they meant nothing to me. I realized how much I love you. That's what you thought you were rewarding them for. You thought that you were rewarding them for them realizing that you have value, you have meaning, you have a position in this. And the reality is you were enabling them. You were expecting different results with the same behavior. It's madness. That's what it is. And that madness that accumulates over time in your relationship, it continues to accumulate. That madness hits you all at once at the discard. It hits you all at once. And it's like, boom. And that fog is so thick. It is so thick, you can't see beyond it. You can't see anything. I'm going to tell you guys something. Ah, crap. Man, the pen fell. Oh, wait, found it. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to tell you guys something. That shit changes today. Okay? It changes today. All of it changes today. When they try to reach out to you, what I did was Not everybody can do it, but you know, if you can do it, I say do it. I changed my phone number. I said my goodbye. I changed my phone number. And often when people go through a discard, you want the closure, you want them to give you some kind of validation, some kind of explanation. It's not going to happen. As long as they know they're in the driver's seat, it's not going to happen. Okay? The only one who can make them surrender, and even if, is God. Okay? And yes, they do get their karma. People often ask that too. They're always asking, do they get their karma? Yes, they do get their karma. Okay? Narcissistic people are the kind of people who do not understand emotions. Therefore, the kind of karma that you would like for them to feel, you want them to feel the way you felt, it's not going to come in that form. I've explained this plenty of times, because emotionally, they're pretty much numb. They're numb to emotions. They don't. It's like there's zero empathy, right? So when you were crying and you were upset and you were trying to understand, and yes, I'm talking to the men too, because I know that there have been men who've been discarded, and even though you didn't show it outright in front of everybody, I'm pretty sure that some of you cried in front of that person when they were hurting you. I know the feeling, and trust me, you're not judged here, because we've all been there. But when you're emotional and you're crying and you're upset, they get annoyed. Who does that? Someone who says, I love you, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you 1 minute, all of a sudden just completely changes and becomes cold and detached, sees you in pain, sees you clearly devastated, and their response to it is annoyance. Who does that? Yes, see, Nelson, they hate emotion because they can't express theirs effectively. Because their emotions are anger, rage, it's jealousy. Those are the emotions they inherently know. I'm sorry, Lindsay. I'm sorry. And if anybody's going through it right now, I'm going to tell you guys, I am so sorry that you're dealing with this. But I promise you, I promise, and I don't make promises that I can't keep, okay? I promise you, you're going to get through this, man. And when you do, and you get out of it and you're standing on the other side, you're going to literally be saying to yourself, what the hell was I thinking? What was I thinking? Did I actually believe I deserved the bare minimum? That I deserved this? Was I actually believing that about myself? Because I said that to myself plenty of times. I'm like, what the hell I was a dummy, guys. I was stupid. I was so stupid. I was a dummy. I was stupid. I'm sitting there like, what? Because they felt that you deserve this behavior. You internalized that. You took that as, well, maybe and you start reasoning. You start reasoning with their behaviors, like, well, maybe I am. And then the one thing they do, they flip it onto you. You're the narcissist. You're the person who was controlling, and you were doing this and you were doing that. And oftentimes people believe that they are. And I only got one thing to say about that. If you are really concerned, or if you're really scared that you think you may be the actual narcissist, trust me, they don't care. So if you actually care about the idea of, am I? Could I possibly be? You're not. You're not. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths do not care. They do not care at all. They're more enamored with power, control, attention, superiority. That's what they're about. So trust me, you're not. I've been begging for the bare minimum and wasn't even getting that. No. Sandy, a sociopath, not really different from a narcissist. To be honest, they're not really different from it. They're just a very more darker version of one. Like, narcissists are more like, they're the charmers. They're the ones that want the attention. They want, all of the attention, all eyes on them. Sociopaths are more obsessed with power. They like the attention, they love that feeling of superiority, but the lengths that they go to obtain, it's like they're just pretty much on that I just don't give a shit. They do not care. They don't care. They're very, very, it's like I wish I can describe it in a way where it's like, say this paper is your emotions, and they're just like, no regrets, no remorse. This is who I am, and just throw it to the side. That's they're just more. Granted, sociopaths are a lot less likely by general population than narcissists, a lot less likely, but they're typically the ones that extremely, extremely dangerous people. Narcissists are dangerous, but sociopaths are extremely dangerous. The next time I do a live, I'm gonna go over some statistics, but like they're the ones that you would more commonly find in prison. They're the ones who grew up sadistic, like extremely sadistic behaviors. And of course, a lot of the sociopaths, serial killers, psychopaths. They're the ones who really grow up to be the types that they become serial killers. They have no remorse for other people. They have no emotional effects. Their thing is, you could be sitting there crying your eyes, just upset, hurt, and pain. Nothing. They feel nothing. It's like a blank canvas. They have no regard for the law. So, which is why most of the time, if you watch like these true crime stories and stuff like that, if they do diagnosis on them, they're more veering sociopaths, psychopaths, but they're very extremely just, and it often starts in childhood. Like if you notice the Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't know if you guys have seen it on Netflix. I actually did a lot of research on Jeffrey Dahmer when I was younger in high school for a project, but it's like high functioning, and that's what makes it more scary, because they can go, get up, go to work on Monday, and have a whole family, have a wife, have kids, everything. And they can go out there and impulsively, because they suffer from impulsivity. That's what makes them extremely dangerous, because they can seem very cool, calm, and collected on the outside. But if they're put in a position to become impulsive, they can act on that impulsivity and commit the act and go home, no conscience, go home like nothing happened. None whatsoever. It's crazy. Not want to use the term crazy, but it's, and again, you have different types, because it's a spectrum, guys. Everybody is on a spectrum. You can have high functioning sociopaths that are getting help, that are on medication for, to help with the impulsiveness and to help with the, erratic thinking, and, they're in either psychiatric treatments, or even in, mental health facilities where they are currently, like, I don't like to use the term locked away, but that's pretty much how you got to use it, where they're undergoing therapy, because it's with impulsiveness, it's uncontrollable on their end. They can't control that. That's the whole point of it being impulsive, because it's not controllable. So, but again, the rate of sociopaths and psychopaths compared to narcissists, because narcissists, it's a broader spectrum, where you have people who have NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, but you also have people who have extreme narcissistic traits, where they're not diagnosed as a narcissist, but they carry the traits of one. It's a whole other level of self-sabotage. Yes. My soon-to-be ex did that to my even tried to get me pregnant while cheating on me. Yeah. So when they try to trap you, and I don't, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's like they actually think that even by doing that, it's going to keep you around. It's, whether it be a male or a female, a narcissist will, especially if you have really good supply for them, if you are a very validating person, if you are the kind of person that, is a giver, you're constantly giving and you're providing. When they try to chop you with a kid, it's like, this is my way of controlling you. This is my way of, you know, keeping the reins, holding on to the reins. It's my way of making sure that you don't ever find happiness ever with anyone. And that doesn't work. That does not work. And I don't understand why people do it. I mean, listen, when I was in my last relationship, did I want to have a family with this person? Yes. Of course, that was under the premise of I was in love with this person. I wanted to have a family because we were having great times together and everything seemed really great. But that's usually how it is with it, especially during the honeymoon phases. That's how it is in a lot of relationships. But after seeing everything for what it was and seeing the kind of situation that was coming about, and I, I honestly, I'm grateful that it didn't happen that way. I really am. But often they will try to find their ways to keep their hooks onto you. They'll keep their hooks in you to keep you around as long as possible. And like I said, guys, for anybody who's going through a discard, if you're concerned or if you're worried, well, is this person moving on? Is this person, officially over me? Listen, narcissists are a type of codependent people. They're extremely, extremely traumatized, codependent people. A narcissist will basically, they bounce from relationship to relationship because it's kind of like they don't like to be in their own company. They don't like themselves very much. So it's a lot easier to gain off of someone else's compliments, someone else's attention, someone else's focus. They like to be the center of attention. And in this case, if they discarded you, they believe in recycling. So you better believe that if you're not no contact with them, if you are not setting proper boundaries with them, even though you may think, oh, they're not going to bother with me, I haven't heard from them in a while, they will resurface. They will try to resurface. Okay. And when it comes to you moving on, if you decide to move in your own direction and create your own success, your own happiness, or what have you, better believe if they catch wind of that, and they see that, oh, Jane over there is doing real good. She's got her job, she's got her house, she's got this and that, and blah, 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 whatever. She's getting attention, she's doing all. They will try to become a part of that. They will try. Yes, Peace and Love says, being with the narcissist creates a toxic environment for the kids that you will have. Think about it. Yes. After 10 years together, he's found another woman and says he's leaving, but somehow I'm the bad guy. That's usually because they don't want to be seen as the bad guy. Oh no, you can't. You can't see them as the bad guy. They can leave you for somebody else, and they will create this whole scenario for other people to give them justification for why they're leaving. My thing is, I and this goes for anybody. If you have to leave someone to be with someone else, you ain't got no business being in a relationship. You're better off just being single and just dating around. Because that says a lot. I have to leave this person to move in this direction to be with someone else. And it's like, what's the point? Because you're going to end up doing it with this person to go to the next person. And you look at the new supply, everybody's in different positions. Everybody's at different points. You look at the new supply, and the new supply may be on the bandwagon with, other flying monkeys. I don't know the situations. If they left you for someone else and you're speaking your truth about the situation or whatever the case may be, they've already told the new supply, this is what happened. They give their version of the story. This is what happened between me and Mary. Mary was like this, that, blah, 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 or whatever the case may be. Now, mind you, if you're still texting the person, if you're still trying to contact the person because you still have no clarity, you still don't know what's going on, and that new supply is like, well, why is this person texting you all the time and this and that? Better believe they're telling that person, oh, this person can't get over the fact that I don't want to be with them anymore. But they're telling them all of this, but in the interim, they may be breadcrumbing you. They're giving you little breadcrumbs. They're reaching out to you sporadically. They're checking in on you. They may even be telling you, I miss you, and I'm just confused, and blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But the new supply, they're telling them, oh, I broke things off with them, and they just don't want to get it through their head. That's not my problem. They keep, harassing me. They're stalking me. It's just all types of, but they're not telling the new supply that they're still leading you on. They're not telling the new supply that they're still keeping things open with you. They're still trying to keep that door open because they don't know how things are going to happen with the new supply. They don't know. For all they know, they could just get bored with the new supply by the end of the week. And then what are they going to have? But if they keep the door open with you, guess what? They get to come back to you. Erase the messages they sent to you. Make it seem like it's just you wanting to come back to them. And if you guys have iPhones, I guess with the Androids, you could do it too. You can erase certain messages in, even though they can't erase the messages. Oh, wait a minute. No, now you can, right? With the new ones, the iPhones. Just keep this in mind, guys. If you didn't know, now you will. You can, like, if you have an iPhone and the other person has an iPhone, they can erase the messages that are sent to you from their end, and it'll erase on your end too. Be very careful with that, please. You get anything, you make sure. Listen, I'm the screenshot queen. I got about maybe 3,000 screenshots on my phone. About. Oh yeah, she's starting to fall asleep.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm awake.
Screenshot everything, guys. Everything. Screenshot everything, because the way they're making phones now and the way they're making social media sites, they're making everything easier to cheat and lie and just do all kinds of craziness. Make sure you screenshot everything. Yes. Okay. Everything. And then you know what you do to be safe? Email it to yourself. So at least you have it in your email. Because God forbid something happens to your phone, email everything to yourself, and that way you have it stored. If you got a voice record, you do what you got to do. Hi, official. Hi, mama. Do you have any advice for dealing with narc mother and father-in-laws? Narc mother and father-in-laws. Well, I'll tell you right now, when with dealing with them, it's so difficult because when you're dealing with them, it's like they are priority in your spouse's life. Okay, every spouse that we have, if you have a spouse, their parents are going to be top priority. That's just the way. And I'm willing to bet there is some kind of an unhealthy attachment there, and it shows. It probably either shows in your marriage, or at least it shows around the times that you're going to visit your in-laws. Um, this is a part where you have to be emotionally intelligent, and by that I mean you have to be able to separate what they're projecting from your own feelings, from your own emotions. In other words, if they're projecting certain behaviors, right, you have to be emotionally grounded to be able to thwart that off. I tell this to people all the time. When people project onto you, has nothing to do with you. So their behaviors, their actions, their words have nothing to do with you. It has every little bit to do with them. Effective communication should be between you and your spouse. Those are his parents. Those are not yours. Okay? Those are his parents. And quite frankly, I mean, this is me speaking. If it were me, if I had an issue with my spouse's, parents, they're narcissistic or whatever the case may be, my boundaries would simply be put like this. I don't want to deal with them. This is me, by the way, just speaking on it. I don't want to deal with them. I know those are your parents. I know that you are attached to your parents. I know that your parents are, going to always be in your life. But I'm going to set up this boundary. I can't be around people that act like this. If this is how they're going to be, then it's best that when you want to go visit them, you go visit them. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm getting calls in the middle of the live. But it's important to set up those boundaries. Set up the boundary of, listen, this is how I feel. This is how I feel being around your parents. And as much as I know, I love you and I know you love your parents, this boundary has to be set up in place. And you pretty much you may have to just separate yourself from them. Now, your spouse, on the other hand, can go and deal with it, their parents, however way they want to deal with them. But when it comes to any type of, because I don't know how the parents treat your spouse. I don't know if they project onto, onto him and he brings that stuff home. I don't know. But just as much as you have a boundary with the in-laws, you're going to have the boundary with your spouse, because anything that is put upon him, if he chooses to internalize that as his own, you don't want him projecting that onto you, because then it just pretty much be like you're still dealing with the in-laws, only you're just dealing with, with it through an extension, which is your partner. You don't want to do that. I'm a firm believer of, I can get along with people, narcissistic or not. I can get along with people. I can coexist with people. But if you are too overbearing or if you are just way too much for me, I'm sorry, my peace is priority. I can't deal with it. I'm just going to have to separate myself from the situation. That's something that I would do in my own circumstance. I mean, if you want to speak with your spouse about it and explain to them, listen, this is how your parents make me feel. This is, what I don't appreciate, because it's always effective communication. That's the best thing to have in your marriage, because you guys are married. Okay? When your partner married you, okay? He left the house of the parents. It says it in the Bible. When you get married, that's it. Your wife is your priority, okay? Even though those are his parents, but at the end, you're his wife. You're his wife, and when push comes to shove, everything that goes on in your home, that's between you and your husband. I was just having this conversation. We were just having that conversation before. When it comes to the spouse and it comes to the parents, okay? Because if something happens, God forbid something happens to your husband or wife, it could be anybody, guys, just have to relate to the situation. You being that person's spouse, you are going to have directive over everything. It's going to be with you. So if his parents want to be that way, I can't tolerate me. I'm just one. I'm like, no. You want to go visit your parents? Go visit your parents. When you come back, you make sure you shake that shit off when you're outside. Don't bring that in my house. That's my attitude. Don't bring that in my house. I've addressed the issue to him. I told him I don't want to deal with them. And yeah, usually narcissistic parents are very codependent. So they're looking at the child like, well, we're your parents. You're supposed to take care of us. We took care of you. So, now it's your turn to take care of us. And the fact of the matter is that there's nothing wrong with him taking care of his parents, but you are his wife. You are not their wife. You are not their child. Granted, you are the in law, but if their behaviors are unbearable to deal with, I think it would be in your husband's best interest to respect you as his wife and saying, okay, you cannot be in this situation because this is how it makes you feel. And if, I'm not trying to cause friction, but if your husband says, well, you know, I think you're just making it into nothing, or you're basically blowing it out of proportion, or whatever the case may be. I mean, clearly that's invalidating how you feel about the situation. It's invalidating your feelings, and it's not really considering how you feel about everything. But if you have that communication with him, like, I'm not saying you can't take care of them, I'm not saying you can't go and help them, and you can't do what's necessary for your parents. I'm saying, why I got to be there? Like, why do I have to be there? Why do I have to sit there and deal with it? Because I'm me. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm the type of person. I'm like, before I end up saying something that disrespects people, I'm just gonna walk away from this situation because it's just better to be that way. It's better to be that way. A narcissist mama chose her son as her supply because she didn't get it from her father or her man. That's often the case too. I mean, we have to, when it comes to a narcissistic person, a people, people who are narcissists in general, they lack somewhere. They lack. There's just some part of them that lacks. Whether they didn't receive the emotional connection from their own parents, from their caregivers, um, or maybe they did receive emotional connection, but they've got it at certain. They're like certain dynamics that kind of enable them to become. I mean, listen, the plainest way I can put it, and the most simplest way I can put it, is a lot of them are they're just spoiled brats. They're very spoiled, and they become spoiled because they've managed to create situations that pretty much veer in their favor. Everything ends in their favor, what they want. So people don't have to deal with. It's kind of like giving into a whining child, like a child who sits there screaming and whining about, and what do we do? What do a lot of parents do when their kids are screaming because they want a toy, or they're screaming because they want candy, or they want something? We give it to them to shut them up. That's often how it is in the relationship of dealing with someone who's like this. It's like, oh my gosh, just to shut you up because I don't want to hear any more about it. I'll give it to you. And that's what we end up doing. I don't speak to them. They've badmouthed me, and I don't speak to him. His relationship with his parents is very toxic. Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's that's where you have to separate the two, if that's the way it needs to be. So if your relationship, as long as your relationship with him is not affected, and that's where you have to really set up that boundary. You have to be the one to enforce that, because if he wants to continue dealing with his parents, he's going to have to deal with them on his own, in his own time. But again, the minute he comes home, he can't, again, I would say you can't bring that into the house. You choose to deal with them. And if you know that you're constantly bickering with them, you're constantly arguing. And guys, I'm not saying don't take care of your parents. I'm not saying don't be there for them. But what I'm saying is, don't be in a situation that is not bearable. Okay? Don't do that. Don't be in a situation that's not bearable. You're standing on hot coals. If you want to stand on it, fine. See how long that's going to be bearable for you. Eventually, you're going to jump off. You know, boundaries are not just limited to relationships, romantic relationships. Boundaries are for family members too. And yes, for parents. That's it. I do not encourage, nor do I enable anyone enabling toxic parents. There is a thing called toxic parents, toxic behaviors. And parents who act this way are parents who feel entitled because they have done something for you. Well, you're my child. I did all of these things for you, so now you owe me. Technically, I don't. I don't understand where people feel obligated, why people feel that you are obligated. In a marriage was choice, right? And even in a marriage, you're not obligated. You're not obligated to stay faithful. You're not obligated to be, to be 100% honest. You're not obligated to anything. Everything we do in life is a choice. Your parents chose to have you, did they not? And they chose to take care of you. Did they have to take care of you? No. Let's be honest here. No. How many parents give up their children all the time? How many parents give up their kids for adoption? How many parents, because they can't cut it as parents, end up giving up their children? And they don't go to jail for giving up their children. It's because they're not obligated. Everything we do in life is a choice. Your parents chose to have you. They chose to do these things for you. And that's great. And you show them appreciation by reciprocation. We show them appreciation by reciprocation. Do I have to take care of my parents? I don't have to, but I choose to. I don't have to, but I choose to. When there comes the line of entitlement, where, well, I'm your parent, I'm entitled to treat you this way, I'm entitled to do these things and say these things because I did all of these things for you, that's where we have a problem. Because that means you have no respect for me, you have no regard for what I have going on in my life, you have no respect for my marriage, you have just you pretty much, you're a boundary twister. And when you have someone who's a boundary twister, the more you continuously allow them to twist it, the more they're going to get away with a lot of shit. Parents think that they can say and do whatever they want simply because I gave birth to you and I took care of you. And no, but you don't own me. You do not own me. So as much as I can say, listen, he wants to take care of his parents, let him. That's what you want to do. But that's on you. I can't sit there and be disrespected. If he expects you to sit there and be consistently disrespected and expects you to still contribute in helping, no, no. I'm not with that. Definitely not with that. Parents aren't obligated to help when your son or daughters aren't respectful as well. Yeah, it's a double side. There's a double side to every coin in life. There's a double side to every coin in life. I am not going to sit here and be disrespected when I've shown nothing but respect. I show my parents respect all the time. Okay? And if there ever comes a time that my parents disrespect me, I reciprocate with distance. I distance myself. Okay? How many children out there, how many kids out there murdered their parents? Okay? How many of them have done it simply because the parents were either abusing them, were, doing all types of, well, we're not even going to really talk that much about it, but, or wouldn't even let their kids go out to a party, whatever the case may be. Respect is a two-way street. That's just it. It's a two-way street. Okay? Parents respect their kids, kids respect your parents. But if a parent does not respect their children, they cannot expect their children to only not respect, they can't expect their children to respect them. And more importantly, they can't sit there and say, I don't know what happened to my child that he or she is disrespecting all these people out there. It starts in the home. It starts from somewhere. Yes, it is, Marquise. Respect is definitely earned. It's definitely earned. And at the end of the day, would I ever disrespect? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't need to. I don't need to. Because you know what? You want to disrespect me? No problem. I shut down. I shut down. I don't fight disrespect with disrespect. I don't do that. If I get disrespected, I shut down. That's it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But often parents feel that, well, I can disrespect my kids and they can't say anything to me because I'm the parent. What? No. No. Believe who they show you they are the first time. Stop trying to repaint people. Exactly. Exactly. I would love to do research on this topic. I bet all narcissists were the favorite child. Not all of them. Not all of them. You have different types. You have the ones that were either, because when parents, I mean, we're talking about a scenario of a narcissistic parent or narcissistic parents. When they have children or even a child, they rotate the behaviors depending on how they want to. The golden child is the child that reflects the idealistic thoughts of themselves. Okay. They treat that child with, putting them on a high pedestal and making them feel like they should get everything, everything just for being who they are. Okay. And that's simply because that child enables the parents. So because that child enables the parent and, fuels the parent's ego, the parent is pretty much projecting onto that child their idealistic selves, not even their true selves, their idealistic selves. They may scapegoat their children, okay, meaning that they project onto their children all of their bad behaviors. They pretty much project onto them their failures, their negative thoughts about themselves, their inadequacies. They will project everything onto the child because they won't take accountability for themselves. They won't take accountability for why their lives didn't turn out the way they wanted them to, why they haven't become successful or rich and famous, or why they don't have a successful relationship. They'll essentially project onto their children. They'll rotate the roles, they'll move it around. They can turn the golden child into the scapegoat and the scapegoat into the golden child. And this is what makes it so damn confusing, because the children, who don't even deserve those behaviors, the children are pretty much left to be like what a lot of you were in your relationship, walking on eggshells, because they don't know what to expect next. They don't know what mood the parent's going to wake up in the next morning. They don't know what that parent's going to do. They don't know how that parent's going to react. They don't know what today's argument is going to be about. They don't know anything. They don't know if they're going to be in a good mood or not. But yeah, it definitely takes a lot of learning, because you have different types. And you know we'll go a little more deeper into it in the next live with regards to I really wanted to talk about narcissistic mothers, go a little deeper into it, because they play a very big role. They play an extremely big role.
It's a good question that somebody asked a question about how gaslighting has a effect on memory loss and brain issues.
How gaslighting what?
Has issues with memory loss and brain damage
Well, gaslighting,
and all the stress and everything about having.
yeah, I'm just trying to, because gaslighting is what is described as crazy making. It's to make you, holy crap, I didn't realize what time it was, but I'm going to answer this last question. It's a way to make you feel as if you didn't see what you saw. You didn't hear what you heard. You didn't see anything. Your mind's playing tricks on you. You're making things up in your own head. But it's a way to get you to forget. It's a way to get you to forget what your primary argument was about. So even though gaslighting is a tool to make you question yourself, question your sanity, question Did I really see that? Okay, maybe I was overthinking. Maybe I was maybe I was making this up in my head. I mean, yeah, no, they wouldn't do that to me because they really do love me. I've just been putting too much pressure on them. I've just been, I've just been argumentative, like they said. And you see where I'm going with that? Gaslighting is a way to make you not only buckle back and question everything, because now you have to question everything about yourself and you're driving yourself insane with it, but it's a way for you to forget your argument. So, say, for example, you happen to see their phone open and you see a text message and it caught your eye, and you open it and you open that text message and you look and you see it's another person texting your partner, saying, I miss you, I love you, or whatever the case may be. And you bring that to your partner's attention and you say, who is this person? And they come to you and they say, why are you going through my phone? Never mind that. Who is this person telling you I love you and I miss you? And they will try to, again, evade accountability. That's nobody, that's nothing. But what I want to know is why you're going through my phone. Why are you looking through my phone, invading my privacy? And they will be very adamant in their argument and they will continue to fight very, very hard. So much so to the point that they will throw things like, oh, you see, you never trusted me. This is just a friend that I saw. They'll make up some bullshit lie because that's usually what it is. But they will put the focus, they'll take the focus, the spotlight off of them and put that focus right back on you. You see, you're looking through my stuff. You're invading my privacy. How could you? I can't trust you. Blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom, boom. And what do you? No, no, it wasn't that. I wasn't looking through your phone. And before you know it, you're sitting in the hot seat. You're sitting in the hot seat and you are explaining yourself to that person who initially was lying to you, who had another person texting them, who had another person telling them, I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you again, and all of this nonsense. And I know I'm being kind of triggering, and I'm sorry, but I have to be honest with you guys because there's just no other way to do it. You find yourself in the end apologizing to them. You're apologizing for going into their phone, looking at the text message that popped up on the phone, and you promise you will never do it again. You didn't mean to make them angry. You didn't mean to hurt, their feelings. You didn't mean to make them feel like they were a lying sack of shit and all of that stuff, because they will sit there and tell you, oh, see, I must be, if I'm that bad of a partner and I ain't shit and I don't do nothing, and why are you still with me? And they just they'll continuously throw those balls at you, and you continuously are trying to protect yourself. And it really, when it comes to your brain, and I want to let you guys understand this physiologically, okay? Your brain sends signals. Your brain sends the signals because the signals are running throughout your body. When you go through a certain type of abuse, stress, the stress has a physical outcome. It creates a physical ailment, and it causes problems up here, which is essentially your brain. Okay? It creates scar tissue. Huh? What are you talking about?
That's what's called
Cognitive decline. Yeah, because there's a part, it's what cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is, and if you're familiar with cognitive dissonance as well, it's pretty much where you're going against the grain with your morality. You're going against the grain with what you would normally, what your beliefs are, what you believe in. You're going against the grain of yourself to accommodate someone else. Okay? We're going to talk more about that too. We are definitely going to talk more about that too. Hi, Country Club. Hi, sweetheart. It's good to see you too. See, Nelson, you're at war with yourself. Yes. Misa, I'm not licensed yet. I'm currently in the process of getting my degree. Yes. It creates many physical ailments. And just so we understand, domestic abuse, whether it be narcissistic, because narcissistic abuse is a form of domestic abuse, whether it be in your family, it be in your relationships. It could be abuse it come in any form: emotional, psychological, verbal, physical. Okay, there's not just one type of abuse. And at the end of the day, if you feel that you have been dealing with someone who maybe suffers NPD, I mean, again, the only way of truly knowing is if they're diagnosed. And the only way they would be diagnosed is if they actually agree to go to a mental health professional. And I'll tell you something, there's no guarantee that they would be honest. They're not going to be fully honest. And narcissists they can actually convince, and it's not on an all-time basis, but they can actually, I guess the proper term would be manipulate. It's possible to, because no one's perfect. No professional, no mental health professional is perfect. They can actually possibly trick them. It is possible. It is possible. That's why I say, something, if there is someone showing you patterns, if they're showing you certain behaviors, if they're showing you certain things that go against you as a person, period, narcissist or not, you probably it would just be in your best interest to just say, something, as painful as this is, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't be involved in this. And I have to separate myself from this. Because anyone who shows toxic traits, it's clearly someone who is suffering some form of an unhealed part of themselves. They need to work on that. They need to work on that. I'm not saying people can't change. I'm not saying people can't heal. I'm saying you want to be with someone who is healed, opposed to someone who's carrying all of that trauma on them. You really don't want to be a part of that. A narc can manipulate a therapist. To some of them, yes, are good at manipulation. They are. That's why when, with me getting my degree and me getting into this, I really have to use discernment. I will really have to use discernment. Like, it's not just a matter of someone coming in saying, "Oh, well, this is my partner and they're a narcissist," and okay, yeah, I have to use discernment in how I approach a diagnosis, how I approach the situation, because it's a lot easier said than done. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Oh, my lovely people, I didn't realize it is midnight. I've never been up this late on a live before, but thankfully I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm able to do that. Yes, God is the only way out of a situation like this. And I turn to God and look at where I'm at today and look at what I'm doing now. And if I can do it, guys, you guys can do it too. All of you can do it. Oh my gosh. This live has been it's just been amazing. It's been amazing seeing you guys. Anyone who's new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you just for, showing up, showing out, showing love. I appreciate it always. To my moderators, thank you. To everybody on YouTube and Facebook, thank you for being here. I apologize if I didn't get to, but I'll go back to the comments, and any questions you have, I'll be sure to answer them. Peace and love. Thank you. Thank you, country. Thank you, Nelson. Thank you. Yes, and we're still going at it. And guys, like I said, if you want to reach me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. Also the website, narcsurvival101.com. I designed it specifically for survivors and victims of narcissistic abuse. There are some blogs up there. There are, some articles up there that if you guys want to read on them, and sign up for the website so that way when I post up new blogs and new things. I like to do giveaways sometimes. I haven't been around to doing it yet, but I'm gonna get back into it. I sometimes do paintings and I give away paintings to people, to kind of brighten up their days and just to give them that reminder that, they're on the right track and healing is just the way to go. And it's going to take time, but you guys are going to get there. You're going to get there. Trust me. It took me about 2 years to heal. Two. So it takes a bit, but you got this. You guys got this. All right. Shout out to everybody who is here tonight. All of the newcomers. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. If you are following the channel. And of course, huh? There's a ladybug. Ladybugs are good luck. And to everybody else who's been here since the beginning of time, thank you so much for sticking by me and for having patience with me and for just being that support beam that I need. I got 2 more semesters, guys. I go back to school on Thursday. 2 more semesters. I graduate on to the next phase. I'm pushing for my master's. Might push for my doctorate. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. But please wish me luck and keep me in your prayers on it because Lord knows I do need it. But I thank you all so much, guys, for being here. I'm going to try to do another live this week before I go back to school because my days, Monday to Thursday, I have school full time. So I probably will do my lives resume on Fridays since I don't have school on the weekends. So more than likely, I'll be back Wednesday and then I'll do Friday just so I can catch up with you guys. All right. Nelson, yes, I am thinking about doing a live for my graduation. Amanda will be there, so I'll see if she can do it for me. So if you guys can be there, it's going to be sometime in April, but if you guys can be there, that would be so awesome just to see me, and I can give a shout out to you guys. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting my degrees, my license, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this because I'll tell you right now, I'm not letting anybody go unhealed, okay? Nobody is going unhealed. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys. Thank you so much for the support and the love. And you guys are just amazing. Deborah, thank you. La Bella, thank you so much, Mama. You guys are amazing. I love you all. I will see you on Wednesday. I promise I'll be here on Wednesday. And we're going to talk about some more stuff. I'm going to make sure to write some stuff down for you guys. Okay? So again, much love to you all, my beautiful people, my family, mi familia. I'll see you next week. Thank you again. Have a beautiful night. Have a wonderful Labor Day, guys. If you have tomorrow off, hey, if you got a barbecue going on, let me know. I'm in New York. If you're in New York, I'll stop by, pick up a plate. I will travel for food, okay? I will travel for food. But have a wonderful Labor Day. Have a beautiful week. May God bless you all. May God protect you all. And of course, as always, love, peace, blessings, all of that good stuff, guys. You all are amazing, but Mama's going to go to bed. My knees are hurting and I'm tired. All right? So I will see you guys on Wednesday. Please mark it in your calendar. Love you all. Good night, guys. And I got to do this double time.